So we know now that Sheikh Jassim has pulled out of the bid to buy Manchester United, and you might think, what next and how does that impact Tottenham? Well, Tottenham are an attractive property for someone like Sheikh Jassim to buy. There's lots going on at this football club that would mean it was an attractive purchase for him. If he's going to buy another football club, then you'd imagine the Premier League to be the place where you'd buy it. Lots of eyes from around the world on the Premier League, more so than any other league in Europe. But why would he want to buy Tottenham? So if the motive to buy Tottenham is political rather than financial, as you can imagine, abundant wealth, so it's never really going to be a financial investment. There are other political things at play that would stimulate a reason why he would buy a Premier League football club. So any purchase of Tottenham would effectively make us a state-owned football club. Now, he isn't effectively a member of the state. He is a member of the royal family. He's the chairman of the third richest bank in Qatar. And for all intents and purposes, Tottenham Hotspur will be seen as a state-owned football club. Tottenham generate huge amounts of revenue, which would enable him to spend freely should he own the football club. If you look at what's happening at Newcastle, they're restricted by how much they can spend, I'm sure to the frustration of the owners, by financial fair play and Premier League spending rules. At Spurs, that's much less of an issue because of the amount of revenue we generate. That's a very attractive thing for a Qatari owner to consider. Same with Manchester United. They're worth something close to £6 billion, but their revenue is insanely high, and that means that they would be able to get round financial fair play and spend, well, not get round, but actually be compliant with financial fair play and the Premier League spending rules because of the amount of revenue they generate. So one of the interesting things about buying Tottenham is the naming rights of the stadium. Currently, the stadium is called the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I still like to call it White Hart Lane. In reality, in financial terms and in commercial terms, it's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which means it can be purchased by someone and they can put their name all over the stadium, similar to what's happened at Arsenal with the Emirates. So Sheikh Jassim can come in and put his name or whatever brand he wants on that stadium immediately, gaining worldwide exposure. And the other interesting thing about buying Tottenham as opposed to, say, Liverpool would be that we have a story, a narrative to build. Tottenham famously or infamously haven't won anything of note in 20 years, since 1991 actually. So for him to come in and finance league titles or finance even European glory, which you'd think an abundant amount of wealth might see happen at Spurs, that would be a huge story, a hugely positive story for him and his backers. So the other question is, would Daniel Levy even entertain it? Now, he said at the recent fans forum that it's his job to entertain any serious offers. Of course it is. As the chairman of the football club, he has an obligation to consider any major bids, significantly if they're above, what market value of the football club is, to consider it, because shareholders exist and some of them have invested in the football club to make money, and if a massive offer comes in, then he has to consider it. Daniel Levy and ENIC would maximise their profits by selling to Sheikh Jassim. We may get offers in the future, but probably not one as generous or over the top as this one. And obviously, if Daniel Levy was to turn down any coming bid, it would... You'd have to ask questions about what his motives are at Tottenham, because if it is about making money, then this is an excellent opportunity for him to do so and for ENIC to do so. If he turns it down, then you've got to look at his motives, and these motives surely are about running the football club. What drives him is being the Tottenham Hotspur chairman, for good or worse. Forbes ranked Tottenham as the 9th most valuable club in the world. We're worth about 2.3 billion. Interestingly, Tottenham Hotspur was purchased by ENIC for around 45 million over a 6-year period. They came in 2001, bought a minority share from Alan Sugar, and then 6 years later, in 2007, they bought a controlling stake in the club to the tune of around £45 million. So if you imagine a bid came in for sort of 4 billion, 4.5 billion, similar to the one that Todd Bowley paid for Chelsea, then Daniel Levy would be a fool not to look at it seriously, especially because, from 45 million 20 years ago to 4.5 billion, it's insane. And just to put that in context, if you think of the amount of work that's gone into to take Tottenham from £45 million purchase to what it could be sold for if you're getting market value of 2.3 billion currently, how much more work would have to go in to reach 4 billion, 4.5 billion? It might be another 5-10 years work. In an instant, by accepting an offer Daniel Levy has done that work. So recently, Daniel Levy said he has no real desire to sell Tottenham Hotspur, but what might he consider? Although he has detractors, and I've been one of them myself recently, I do genuinely think he's passionate about Tottenham. I just think what he thinks is correct is different often from what fans think, and there isn't a real reconciliation there. But I do think he's passionate about what he's built at Spurs and what he's done. So it would be difficult for him to leave. It can't just be about money, because he's generally made more money than he could ever spend. I think the ideal thing for Daniel Levy would be that he would remain in control of the football club, that he would run the commercial enterprise, and that we may get investors in from Qatar or elsewhere, America, wherever it might be, and they fund the footballing aspects. To remind you that Daniel Levy has created a massive revenue stream for Tottenham, and that can be exploited by this new investment. Maybe the will isn't there from Daniel Levy and ENIC to pump money in to take advantage of the revenue of Tottenham Hotspur, but someone like Sheikh Jassim could come in and fund that. And of course, Levy can always walk away and think there'll always be another bidder, and there will be. The interest in football and the interest in the Premier League isn't going away anywhere soon. And there will always be people that are interested in buying, if their motives are outside of financial profit, in buying a team like Tottenham. So Jassim might come into the club with the idea that he's going to fund the refurbishment of the football club, buying big name players on big wages that can be managed by the revenue of the football club. Along with that, he gets stadium naming rights and also a minority share in the football club. And then similarly to what ENIC did when they took over, they make it a slow process into eventually taking over the football club and having a majority share, and ENIC part ways eventually down the road. And if this bid was to happen, I honestly don't know what the answer is. I don't think anyone does. But let us know in the comments below what you think. Would this sort of power sharing relationship work at Spurs? Is there a world where Daniel Levy is known for his micromanaging and his attention to detail and his need to have his tentacles into everything that runs the club? And would he allow another powerful force to come in and manipulate how he does his business? Like if there's a power struggle, or the will of one is against the will of another, then that could potentially create an environment at Spurs that isn't harmonious, would affect how everything runs and how smoothly everything runs at the football club. I don't know. I mean, what do you think out there that about the fact that things are going quite smoothly at the moment and having such a massive shift in ownership and ideas in the football club? Is that helpful to where we are at now, or would investment of this kind, which the Premier League is heading this way anyway, do we want to be an earlier adopter, or do we want to be a late adopter to it? I know there's all kinds of ethical conversations around this and the reason why we should or shouldn't get involved in it, and whether it's bigger than football. I understand all that, but let me know in the comments below what you think, and maybe do another video on it at a later date. If you're still here, please hit like and subscribe, and share the video, and enjoy your day.